Dang girl, you live like this? Lanette, one of the new minor characters we meet in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and boy does she need to do some spring cleaning. As you first arrive in Fall Arbor Town, you'll see her standing in front of the PC, which is a nice little way of prompting the player to interact with her. At this point in the game, you won't have access to fly to go somewhere else, and you will have just traveled quite a distance here from Mauville City, so it's more than likely you'll want to access the PC. Talking with her allows you to find out that she's actually the one who developed the Pokemon storage system in the Hoenn region, and she invites you to visit her at her home just outside of town. Though when we actually get inside, sheesh, there's a lot of clutter. I actually do love her cramped little house. It isn't really dirty or maybe all that messy, more of an organized disaster. But it's a great form of visual storytelling. With all that clutter being countless books and multiple computers, you can gather that she's constantly doing work on the PC storage system, though maybe she loses track of everything else when focused on a singular task. Definitely relatable. She gets embarrassed that we had to see all the mess, even though she's the one who invited us here. But as a way to apologize, she gives the player a Pokemon doll for the secret base, either a Lotad or a Seedot. And I really do love how secret base items are just kinda sprinkled throughout the game here and there. And while Lanette doesn't really do a whole lot else, mostly just world building for the Hoenn region, I still really like this interaction. Poking around her place, we can read an email from Bill, the original developer of the storage system in Kanto. He compliments Lanette on how she was able to improve upon his original design and how it's much more user-friendly. I think it's pretty neat that as the world of Pokemon continues to expand, we meet more characters like this. Kanto and Johto were right next to each other, so Bill was able to pull double duty, but now reaching out across the globe, more and more smart people contribute their expertise to the systems. It's pretty cool as you go through future generations and meet these characters. They still really don't add all that much and have some limited appearances in Pokemon media, but they're fun little additions. I would say that Lanette is one of the most significant because she was the first person beyond Bill to be working on Pokemon storage. She was the one that would allow all the others to come later. It's actually kind of understated just how big of a jump there was from Generation 2 to Generation 3 in terms of the PC. Because in the original 2 games, sure we could store Pokemon in multiple boxes, but it was a bit clunky. Generation 1 didn't even have any pictures, it was all just text and you had to navigate menus to determine which Pokemon were there. Generation 2 had images displayed, which made it easier, but it was still organized in a list and you still had to save before changing boxes. In Generation 3 we basically had it perfected because even to this day we're still using the same system more or less, where each box holds 30 Pokemon in a grid that can be navigated by moving a cursor in 4 directions. Also, you can just move from one box to another very easily. There are even handy features like being able to name boxes and change the wallpaper to help with identifying larger groups of Pokemon at a glance. Anytime I play a Pokemon game from the Game Boy Color, I miss the ease of access. The new system is just so much better and it's really charming with all the cute little visuals going on here. This is all thanks to Lanette. But like I said, she doesn't have all that much to her. She is the younger sister of Bridget, which I think is a cool connection. Bridget is the one who ran Pokemon Box in Generation 3 and was then upgraded to managing Pokemon Bank in Generation 6, which is still holding on by a thread. Please, I don't want to lose you, Pokemon Bank. The point is that by Generation 3, we had a solid group of characters managing these important systems, with Bill, Celio, Lanette, and Bridget. I love that this is one of the little ways they decided to add a canonical explanation for game mechanics. And even though it wouldn't be until the remakes of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that Lanette would receive a unique overworld model, her appearance was established back in the trading card game with the supporter card Lanette's Net Search. And this is also when I realized that her English name was a pun consisting of the word LAN and net put together. But that's another cool case of the video game characters getting just a little more in the card game, which I always love to see, and I'm glad that during this time, we got a good amount of them. Other PC managers would get some representation as well, though I don't think they really had that much of the same impact as Lanette in her first appearance, because of just how much the PC was improved. But they're still pretty cool, and I like that their appearances were never limited to only the video games. But aside from Lanette, I just don't think I would be too quick to make videos about them solely. And though I really need to get farther in the manga, it's at least cool to know that they appear there as well. I just always love the idea of getting to meet the people in charge of these storage systems as a little part of the games. Bill was the first and has a plot beat that's necessary to proceed with the story, but I still found the addition of Lanette super interesting just because she was the first in a line of many that would have their own variations. And despite her house being so cluttered and messy, I always thought it was pretty cool. Something about walking into a little building and seeing all the madness behind the work was so fascinating. So let me know what you think in the comments below about this little interaction and what you think about all the other members of this group. Like I said, I probably wouldn't bring them up too much, maybe I'll discuss Bill and Celio at a later time. And I guess Amanita has a pretty important role in the grand scheme of things, as well as Moylaine, but we'll get to those when I can gather the proper footage and knowledge that I need. Anyway, I should probably go do some cleaning. My apartment's starting to look a lot like Lanette's place. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, especially the great Gators. Michael Snyder, DeAndre, Viz, Justin Dowes, Bartholomew, L. Dashy, Swith Cheese, Lockadox, Gallantry, GatorKid509, TF, Cheeseburger Lasers, Mathaclock947, Nomad Nobi, Pastel Blood, Taijirai, Justin R, Volity, Cosmo Zero, Phantom, and Quago. If you would like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes for comments, live streams, sometimes early videos, and a monthly members only podcast, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter as well for more memes. Anyway, this is GatorX, and I'll catch you all later.
Momentum is building with more ways to collect, trade, and play. Plus, holographic basic energy cards and select booster packs for supercharged power. Pokemon trading card game EX Emerald bursting with energy. Booster packs sold separately.